our mission is to support those that have served. So it's working.
Cheers, everybody. Welcome back to the Beer With podcast, where every week we sit down and have a beer with someone that has an amazing and interesting story to tell. And once again, tonight, I'm here with my good buddy, Mr. Nick Moore, your long snapper for the Baltimore Ravens. What is up, dude? How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going well, just got the off season going early and a lot of things going on, but spending a lot of time with the family. So I'm enjoying that a lot.
Are you getting to actually like sit back and enjoy some NFL playoff football from like a different scope? Like you're not in it.
I don't know if I would call it enjoy, but definitely watching, my wife and I really do love to watch the games. Just the other night we were watching the college national championship game, and we really do enjoy. Yeah, that was a hell of a game. Fernando Mendoza, man. I was rooting for the Canes. My best friend's a diehard Miami fan. He's been waiting his entire life for this moment. And I know Carson Beck, and it hurts that they lost, but that Mendoza, he's a dog. But
if they could have got it going in the first half, man, it would have been a totally different game. Because I was watching it too, and I was rooting for Miami.
I know, and unfortunately, the decisive play of the game was the block punt for a touchdown that hits close to home for me. But just special teams, man. It's a crucial part of the game that I feel like doesn't always get the praise that it deserves. Because in a game like that, it's ultimately the game deciding play. I know there was a lot of other things that happened throughout that game, and Fernando just absolutely put the team on his back on that run at the end. But the block punt is it's such a momentum swinger. It's something that's so hard to come back from, especially a block punt for a touchdown. Like that's like that's like cutting you off at your knees, man. It's so hard to come back from something like that. And Miami tried their best. They had a chance there at the end, and unfortunately it didn't go well for them. And shout out to the Hoosiers and all of our Hoosier guys with the Ravens, that they got their first ever national championship. So good for them.
Yeah. My heart was broken for Georgia, though, dude. I was that was the team I was rooting for the whole way.
Yeah. I mean, I was too. I love the Dogs. I gotta, I feel like it's the same song and dance. We had, I was actually talking to Todd Monken about this earlier when, right after they lost, and it's just, they're such a good team. The expectations are always so high, and they just, it's just an unfortunate series of events. Ole Miss is a great football team, and they were kind of playing with that chip on their shoulder, after Lane Kiffin left them after the Egg Bowl, and a lot of guys were upset about that. A lot of people were upset, and those guys played, they played out of their mind. Trinidad Chambliss is an absolute stud. Really came alive in the playoffs, and it was honestly a pleasure to watch him. Hated that he was able to do that to the Dogs, but at the end of the day, I mean, they were the better team that day, so good for them. And hopefully Georgia comes back next year, and Gunnar Stockton will be going into year 3 or 4 now. So hopefully we can get something rolling and get back to the promised land where we belong.
That's right. Georgia and Baltimore.
Yes. The two football teams that need to get back to where they belong. So it's a lot of things are happening, but it's going to be an interesting 2026. That's for sure.
It's going to be an interesting offseason for you. I mean, you've never been in this position where there's just so much uncertainty of everything going on,
I know. I literally signed my contract extension the Friday before we played the Steelers in week 18, locked in 4 more years. And then 96 hours later, the whole world just turned upside down. So, it's the NFL. It's the nature of the business. I've been around professional sports for a long time, and I've seen, regime changes in baseball. I was a part of a regime change at Georgia, after Coach Richt was there for 15 years. And, obviously Coach Harbaugh being with the Ravens for 18 years, just one of the best football coaches, one of the best people I've ever been around, and he will be missed. But there's not a whole lot I can do about it, and I'm just,
Yep.
I'm happy for him and got his new gig with the Giants, and I know he's going to have tremendous success up there in New York, and I look forward to getting an opportunity to go up against him one of these days, not next year, but one of these days we'll run up against the Giants again, and it'll be a great reunion. But at the end of the day, Mr. Bisciotti is and Eric and those guys, we got to win football games, and we can't, with the roster that we had this past season, the talent, the players, the coaches that we had, it's inexcusable that we missed the playoffs. And Mr. Bisciotti he invests too much time and money and energy into the Ravens to have us underperform the way that we did this year. And we need to, go back to the drawing board and kind of reevaluate where we're at. And, hopefully this 2026, we can, make a move, get ourselves back in the postseason, and continue doing the things that we've done for a long time around here in Baltimore.
Yeah, dude. My heart was breaking for you guys. One, because I've met John, and he is such a great guy. Like, I'm sure in the
Mm-hmm.
locker room, but when I met him, he was such an amazing individual, great human being. And then after that game, I can't remember who published it, but there was a shot of you in the locker room after the game, and you were just like right behind Luke. And it was like you were
Mm-hmm.
his protector there to the media. You were like,
Yeah.
like, hey, you're
No.
his watchdog. And my heart was breaking for him because he is such a great
Yeah.
guy. And I can't even imagine the pressure that was on him, because when it came down to that kick, I remember we were having a watch party, and I was like, I think this is his first game winning kick. And like, what a spot for him to be in, It was
Yeah.
just,
I'll say this. We always stand with each other. I think a lot of times, he's in a position at kicker. He gets all the praise and all the blame. And, so Jordan was actually in the shot as well in Tyler's post-game presser. We stood behind him in solidarity because it's not his fault that this happened. It's the NFL, man. It's a hard, it's a hard place to play in Pittsburgh. That's a tough kick to make. Obviously we
yeah.
do everything that we can in our power to make those kicks, but at the end of the day, we are human and we make mistakes. And, I felt like me and Jordan, we're a part of that too. And, there's things that both of us could have done better. There's obviously things that Tyler could have done better, but at the end of the day, we win as a team, we lose as a team, and we always have his back no matter what happens. And, I thought he handled that with class. I know, it was his first game winning field goal, and it was probably the biggest pressure kick I've ever been a part of since I've been on the team. Aside from maybe the NFL record field goal back in 2021. But that kick was basically make it, go to the playoffs, win the division, everything's sweet, miss it, go 8-9, lose the division, don't make the playoffs, and then obviously everything that happened since. And that's just an unfortunate side effect of that. And, at the end of the day, all we can do is do our best. And, I know Tyler, he struggled with it. He was in a very tough place there for a while, and I've talked to him extensively over the last several weeks, and just reminding him that, hey man, it's your rookie season. You had a hell of a rookie campaign. You were 88.2%. You did everything that we asked you to do, and people don't understand, like, as a rookie, you got to go all the way back to you start, training for your senior year in college, and then you play your senior season, and then you go immediately to combine prep, and then you go immediately to workouts, and then you go immediately to the draft, and then OTAs, and then training camp, and their season. It's it's like 18 months of nonstop football. And your rookie season is your toughest season because you're adjusting to playing 17 games. You're fatigued from the last 12 or 18 months that you've been consistently doing your whatever your job is. And for us, it's very unique because we do the same motion every time. So it's a very repetitive movement. It becomes challenging over time. You just wear down naturally throughout the season. And then even more so as a rookie. And there's all these other things that go into being a rookie. And I'm not making any excuses for that happening, but I'm just telling him, like, dude, you played out of your you played out of your mind this year. It was a fantastic season. Like, you came into a difficult situation. You were filling in for Justin Tucker after, a controversial end to his time in Baltimore and a 13-year career that arguably is a first ballot Hall of Fame career. And you're just kind of getting thrown into the fire. And, I thought he handled it with class. I thought he handled it with dignity. He worked his tail off. He played great, and that's just the way the game goes. You just, if that's a regular kick, not for that situation, it's just another miss. But because it was for the division, for the playoffs, and now that Harbs has gotten fired and there's been a changing of the guards with the Ravens, I think a lot of it gets put on him. And it's like, dude, we played 17 games. We played like shit in most of them. Like, it's not one kick that's the reason we lost, that Coach Harbaugh got fired. There's a whole lot of things that happened this year from everybody, myself included. Everybody could have done better. And it's not Tyler's fault. And I just continually put that on him. And I think now he's in a good spot. He's getting ready to get married this off season. So I know he's looking forward to that. He's spending time with his fiance now. And, he's recentering, refocusing, taking some time away from the game, getting his first break in a very long time. And he's going to come back in 2026 and be a much better player. And then he, continue to grow as a player and be, be better than he was this past season. And I think he's gone, I think his career is sky's the limit for him. He's going to have, he could be the best player at his position of all time. He has so much talent. He's such a great kid. He works so hard that I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to come back with a vengeance this season. So I can't wait to see it. And I'm just glad I get to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. Well, to be fair, Steve actually said in the press conference that it would have only bought John another week. So he was pretty clear and blunt about that.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. And it's at the end of the day, Mr. Bisciotti is the boss. He owns the team. He bought the team. He can do, he can make his own moves and he's a guy's a winner. You don't become a billionaire by not being a winner. And he's competitive and he's been successful every phase everything in his life he's ever done. And this is his thing. He wants to be, he wants to do, and he's going to be great at. He's determined to be great, and he's going to do everything he can to make the Ravens great. And, I have nothing but faith and trust in him. And I think we're going to be great. I can't wait. And I'm just anxious to see who our new coach is going to be. And, some of the coaches underneath and kind of what everything's going to look like, and get to meet everybody and do the whole deal and get going.
Yep. One last thing for you, 'cause I know this is kind of like a hot topic that's coming up right now, right? Because you were talking about, 17 weeks. Now that there's this thing on the table where they want you guys to play 18 weeks, take away one of the preseason games, and have that international game for every single team. What's your thoughts on that, dude?
I mean, for me personally, I play long snappers, so like,
oh, that's true.
an extra game is like me playing like an extra 8 plays. If they're gonna increase my salary with this extra game, then I'll be happy to do it.
I just can't imagine the wear and tear. Like, you're taking away one of the prep games and adding on another full contact game. That seems insane if they're talking and preaching player safety. Like,
for me, like, I play the preseason games anyway, so it doesn't. Now the preseason games are the way that they're coached and played. It's a much different style of football. It's a very vanilla playbook. You're trying to get guys in a position to be one-on-one to see what they're made of. Versus in the regular season, you're being schematically aggressive and attacking the team certain ways based on the personnel that they have and all that stuff. So the games are coached differently in the regular season. The preseason is more like, let the guys play. Let's see what they're made of. How are they going to handle this? Because a lot of guys, like, from my perspective, like a bunch of these guys never played special teams in college or had minimal time played. They might have played as a freshman or a sophomore, but it's been 2 or 3 or 4 years since they've played special teams. And so then you just put them out there and you just say, can you go up against this guy mano a mano? Can you block him down the field? Can you stop him from rushing the punt? Can you make a tackle in the open field? Like, the preseason is more for just letting the guys loose and letting them play. The regular season is a much more involved game where it's situationally dependent. It's, whoever you're going up against dependent. Like, there's all these different factors that come into play when you're playing the regular season. So, adding an 18th game is going to be a hard bargain for most players, just because a lot of these starters aren't playing in the preseason. And if you're not going to pay them more, then it's going to be much more difficult to get guys on board to want to play another game. Well, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. 17 is already a lot of games. And now if they're talking, we're going to take, which they did this last time when they went from 16 to 17, they cut out one of the preseason games. We went from 4 to 3, and then we went from 16 to 17. And they added a pseudo bye week, which was week 4 of the preseason in the past. It became now a bye week in between training camp and the regular season starting. There was like a 96-hour window that you had to have off, that you have to have off as a team. But I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to obviously add another bye week. So then you're looking at a 20-week season, and then you're looking at creeping. Now you're going to look, the Super Bowl is going to be Valentine's Day instead of the first week of February. So then there's a lot of logistical stuff. They've been pushing this for a long time. I know if it's up to the NFL, they want 20 regular season games and no preseason games, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not making the decisions. Like I said, for me personally, I wouldn't mind it if I'm going to get paid a little bit more, because 8 plays is 8 plays. I play the preseason just the same as I play the regular season. So for me, it doesn't really make a difference. I play 20 games regardless. So if they want to pay me an extra $75,000, $100,000 for that one extra game, then that's fine with me.
Yeah, our BG&E bills aren't getting any cheaper, man, so I get it.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, here we are tonight. We have another very special guest that I'm looking forward to talking to. You and I, we're big proponents of our military and supporting our veterans. And tonight we have a chance
got my
to
shirt
talk
on,
to.
man.
That's right.
Got my military jacket from 2022 on, baby.
Nice. Yeah, I got my
Love
salute to
it.
service from this year, and that's one of my favorite hoodies right now that I should have worn tonight, honestly. But the gentleman we're going to be speaking with, Mr. Alan Langer, he is the founder of Freedom Brew beer. This veteran-owned and operated, third generation. So many good things about Alan. Such a great guy. I've gotten to know him, and they have some tremendous beer and really a great story. So it is with great pleasure that I bring on tonight Alan Langer, the founder of Freedom Brew beer. Alan, what is going on, man?
Hey, man. Thank you guys so much. First off, thanks for having me. I've been listening to your podcast for a bit, and I was hoping eventually we were going to connect and do this, and here we are. So that's pretty awesome. Great to hear Nick about the season and the team, and I think it is really, I'm really curious to see where it goes, man. Obviously rooting for them, and if I want to see the Ravens go back to glory and pull it down again. Um, I want to see Harbaugh do great too. You want to see it go all the way around. So, kind of mixed emotions there, but no, I'm excited to be here, and thank you for having me, and thank you for sharing a beer with me.
Yeah, I'm drinking one of your beers, man. So you see these cans in the stores. This is going to support a good cause. Alan, you want to talk a little bit about that, Dan?
Yeah, sure. So, Freedom Brew, it is, well, you've heard, veteran owned. We're a mission driven beer business. I actually say we were a mission before we were a beer. Or I'll say that beer is really our vehicle for good. So it's really about putting good beer out, that really good beer at a really good price that's doing really good stuff. That's what we're trying to do, and we partner with and donate to charities that support military veterans, first responders, and their families. You hit it. I'm the third generation in my family that served in the military. My father-in-law served. My brother-in-law on my wife's side served. So there's a lot of history there. I was in EMS. I did some other stuff. So um, basically, we are putting our objective here is to create a business that kind of anyone and everyone that believes in supporting military, and you're going to go out and have a good time, and you can do good just by buying a beer, because a lot of people, there's a lot of veterans, military, police, fire, etc., that have issues, that they're struggling from some of the things that they've had to be a part of, right? And whether it's physical, emotional, mental, and a lot of people believe there should be more services. Especially myself, like I could tell you the story on how we even thought about doing Freedom Brew and creating this business. But there's so many people that want to help. But the problem is a lot of charities seem so big and distant and far. And who do you trust and who do you not trust? And how do you know which way to go? And then you also have to find the money to do it, right? And some people don't have it. But so yeah, part of the idea was, if we do something, like if you're gonna have a beer anyway, buy a different beer and we'll do it for you. We've done the
Mhm.
vetting, we've done the engaging, we've had the conversations, we've looked up the reviews of the charities and such, and you know, kind of making it easier to just say, you know what, every time we say every beer gives back,
I love that.
Yeah,
because
man.
every time you buy, you're ultimately triggering a donation. Um,
So some of the
so
some
yeah.
of the things you guys have supported, Stop Soldier Suicide, Tunnels to Towers, Patriot Paul Service Dogs, Brothers Keepers, Robert Irvin, so many like just amazing charities that you guys have worked
Yeah,
with and raise money for. It's truly an honor to be speaking with you and knowing that you guys are
Mhm.
giving back to the community through beer.
thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Yeah, one of the Stop Soldier Suicide was the first charity to say yes to working with the beer business. So, shout out to Michael DeSelm at Stop Soldier Suicide, and for the organization to say, you know what? Because a lot of people say, well, plenty of veterans and military have a problem with alcohol, so we don't want to do it. But our whole thing we're not about being irresponsible. We're about being smart and careful, and but if you're going to enjoy it, and enjoy it in a smart and careful and proper way, we're just going to make it do some more good. So Stop Soldier Suicide was the first one. He actually said to me, is like, one of the things we love about you is that you're out in the field, you're engaging people, and you're helping us to spread the message. You have the same mission, and you're helping us to message more people. So um, that was great. And he's come out to a couple of different events to work on with me. The second one that started working with was Patriot Paws Service Dogs. They're like the clinical version of a service dog. Those with the most severe injuries or the greatest needs, like kind of really up there. It's a very underserved population, and that's exactly who they cater to. So they were willing to work with a beer, and I love the fact that they're hitting on a specific kind of need, and then the it goes on and on. We've touched a
That
bunch. Last year we worked with. There's only 7 charities listed on the website. We actually touched 8. One of the charities I keep asking for the logo, and I haven't gotten it yet, so I can't post it. Um,
Nick, is it
help me.
Patriot Paws is really close to something that you do as well, right?
yeah, I partner with Warrior Canine Connection, so it's a similar deal. They're the company that they train, they foster the service
Yep,
dogs, and then the dogs are named after fallen soldiers of people
I
that
love.
give the dogs, or people that are part of the charity, or that are donors and such. And then they are outsourced to soldiers in need, PTSD,
Yeah,
injured, wounded guys, family members. We've given some to kids that parents are no longer with us, and things of that nature. And so it's a very similar thing. One of the questions I have for you, Alan, um, that for the people that are listening here, is there like a specific, so if I go buy your beer at the store, let's
mhm.
say I buy, if I buy one case of beer, is there like a specific way that I know that you're going to give X dollars, or is there like a percentage of that case,
Yeah.
or is it like a percentage of the net sale? So if I
So
buy one case of beer, how does that work?
so our goal, and I'm very clear that it's a target that we sometimes are ahead of and behind, and it varies because we're not a big company, right?
Hmm.
It's me and my wife. Like, this is
Wow.
the team, right? So
Yeah, but your
mostly
growth has
self-funded. We've
been
had
amazing.
That is
thank
amazing.
you. Oh wait, shout out to the guys at Pub Dog though. I can't forget them because while I developed all my beers with the guys at Pub Dog in Westminster, Maryland, and
Awesome.
so they all I kind of what I did is a big tasting with a bunch of friends, and I wrote down a lot of what we want, what I like, what I don't like, et cetera, et cetera. And then I met with the guys, and I had talked to a million different breweries and fell in love with those guys. And they helped me to put my words into the can, right? Like, what are we trying to
Nice.
be? What's our philosophy? And they helped us to develop the beer.
That's
So
awesome.
shout out to them as well. So when I say the team is really me and my wife, it's from an operational standpoint, but they're brewing for us, and we've got a number of distributors that are great, etc. But yeah, so our goal is 10% of gross profits going to care.
Awesome.
And I'll be completely transparent. There are times where we're ahead because we just had a big event. It was a big donation, but there's times where we're behind. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at cash flow and I'm saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got to catch up," but we'll always catch up. Like, there's always going to
Yeah.
be that big event that gets us there, or I'm going to do a true up at whatever point. So, but our goal and 10% of gross profits. That's where we
Awesome.
try to stay.
Yeah,
That's
Um,
you
great. That's great.
yeah. and it's been amazing. I would say having the opportunity to work across all the charities and talk to the people at the charities and kind of just share the mission. It's awesome. We have some cool stuff coming up this year too. So
Yeah, you guys started in 2022, if my research is correct.
we
And
were founded in 22, and then we spent about a year and change kind of planning the business, and we launched in 2023.
Nice.
all right. And then
Yeah,
this year, so I mean, just to show your growth, right? You can now find your beer in like so many great spots around town. I mean,
yeah,
you can go to Camden Yards and get your beer, Nationals Park.
yeah.
You can go to Terps game and get your beer. So you're in some like major stadiums where your
Capital One
beer,
Arena. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
Nick,
awesome.
I got
Been
to
there.
talk to you about helping us get
I know.
into
I
the
was thinking
M&T, man.
got to get
I
into the
didn't see
bank, man.
M&T on the list, so we got to get
I
into the
haven't
bank.
figured out how to crack the code.
Yeah, okay. I'll do my research, see if I can find something for you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. No
I'll ask
pressure.
around.
No pressure. No,
But I mean,
it's funny. I do want to try to figure out how to crack the code for the NFL. I think.
yeah, I mean, you guys are
Mm.
distributed Maryland, DC, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So, you have a lot of this region covered. And
Yeah.
the word, because not only is it just a beer that gives back, I will say, because I judged in a beer competition you were in, and it wasn't just me judging, and your beer won. I mean,
Yeah.
your beer won the competition. You've won a couple competitions. So it's not only just a beer that gives back, it's a damn good beer.
Well, and thank you for mentioning that because I always say, like, a lot of people think, oh, it's a gimmick and it's going to be terrible beer. And I've actually had buyers say it to me and wholesalers like, oh, it's going to
That's
be
what I
whatever.
thought, man.
And it's fair because a lot of people do that. But we're not like we don't exist if our mission doesn't exist. Like we're not, it
Mhm.
legitimately is not here. And you'll try us once for our mission. I would say this, you'll try us once for the mission, but it's not good beer. You might want to go have us again, but you're not going to want to spend your money on a bad experience, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to say, I really want to support them, but I'm going to go buy my ex. But if I can put really good beer out that is doing really good stuff and we worked really hard to get to fair prices. Like, no, we're not going to, I'll never be the 30, well, give us a few years, maybe we will be. But right now, I'm not able to do the whole 30 pack at the low price. We're
What do you
still
mean?
in 6 pack. Yeah, well, we can have a story on that
I
one.
drink my Miller Lite.
Yeah, which is a shame on on the podcast with me, man. Come on, I would have sent you some.
I'll get some. I got to branch out. I'm
That's all right.
a
You're a
very
light beer kind of guy, and
I'm a
I've got
light
some.
beer guy.
I've
Nick,
actually
he
got
actually
one.
he wanted to overnight you some beer, dude. I was like, I don't have Nick's address. I was like, I don't
Oh, I
have
would have
I was
taken
going
it.
to,
I would have taken it.
but I will tell you this much: I have one, maybe two beers that'll fall into your realm coming pretty soon.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'll check it out. Obviously, great cause, but I
Yeah.
think if the light beer sticks, it might be my new go-to. Yeah. How does somebody, if they wanted to buy, let's say, if they were hosting an event or something and they wanted to have, 100 cases or whatever, what would be
So
the
we're
best way
not
to
a
do that?
brewery. We're not a brewery. So
Yeah.
legally, there are limitations to what I can do right
Okay.
now, or I should
Okay.
say, we're not a brewery today. You never
Today
know.
you're not. Yeah.
If we own the brewery, then it would be a very different situation, and I could sell retail to you, but I don't have that license.
Not yet.
So not yet. In conversation, a brewery or a tap room, either one would work, right?
Yeah.
Would allow me to have that, depending on the license you get legally, to do it. And one of the things, like, it's so funny because people come up to me like, "Oh, come on, just sell me a 6 pack," and I'm like, "Do you realize how much I have invested in this business?"
Yeah. 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 We
Um,
can't just.
and a buddy of mine was on a golf course actually at an event, and somebody was kind of like, "Oh, come on, whatever." And I guess he's like, "Okay, here." There was an alcohol bureau investigator, like, or agent right there,
Oh
and he
God.
gave it to him, and he's like, "Here's your big fat fine, buddy."
Oh
And
man.
when he was telling me about that, I use that as my rationale. Like, I mean, this is me and my wife. We put a lot of time,
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
money, et cetera, into it. So there's so many times I'm at an event and people are like, "Come on, it's just a 6 pack," and I'm like, "No, you don't know, it's not just a 6 pack."
Yeah.
So
It's
I
more
haven't
than
done
that.
it, but if somebody wanted to do it, what I would do, to have us at an event that depending on the event, I would either have to hook them up with one of the retailers or restaurants or
Mhm.
bars or something that they could buy it from.
Okay.
They can't buy, they can't buy it directly from me, unfortunately.
Okay.
Uh,
That's
yeah,
good to know. I did not know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good to know.
yeah. But I know a lot of people that have done, we're in 6 states plus DC now. We have 2 more
Mhm.
states coming in a couple months. So I have a few people that I could probably put people in touch with if they wanted to bring our beer
Awesome.
somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're in some great tap houses and some great liquor stores up and down the coast here. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the word of the beer and the reputation of it is spreading heavily, and that's coming from a guy who thought, like you said, your beer was a gimmick. Because the first time that I got it, we were doing like a little thing where we were reviewing a bunch of the patriotic beers that we saw around 4th of
Mhm.
July, and then we were sitting there drinking. We're like, "Damn, this is good beer." That was your hazy, and we're like,
Thank
"This
you.
is damn good hazy right
Well,
here."
not just
Like,
Winter Hazy.
is that what you're drinking?
Um, I started with Winter Lager,
Mhm.
but we were on early and hanging out for a bit, so I finished that one. It's a super dark, deep roasted lager. And I just cracked into the hazy one.
The hazy
Nice.
is good. And then your
It
Oktoberfest, I think at the event that we judged, it was your Oktoberfest that won the best seasonal beer, right?
best seasonal. Yep. It won
Yeah,
best seasonal with you, and then this I think this is funny. It came in second for best beer overall at another event, and there was a brewery that was I guess one of the sponsors of the event, and their beer won number one, and
and
our
they were the
Mm.
beer won.
sponsor.
I was
So
like,
a
wait
little
a
something
minute, how
fishy
does
going
that
on back
work?
there. Something
How
fishy
does a
going on
sponsor
there.
end up in the competition? Okay, but nonetheless, you're not going to buy our beer twice if it's not good beer. So our
Mhm.
objective is, hopefully we're putting out high enough quality product that somebody will try it, love it, try it for the mission, appreciate the beer, enjoy the beer, and say this can become part of like my mainstay, your rotation, or is it the thing? We have some fans. I mean, honestly, I have a couple guys. Like one guy sends me pictures every few weeks when he stocks up his fridge, and it's like 5 cases of beer in the beer fridge. I'm like, God, I freaking love you, right? Um, and then, but it's you know, the more every beer gives back. Every time you buy, we donate. It's a very very straight and direct call, like mission.
That's
So could
great.
you tell us a little bit about the core beers that you have and the seasonal beers, and then maybe tease a little bit of what's coming out soon?
Oh yeah, sure. So well the two biggest sellers I have of our core are our American lager. You
Bam,
have
that's what
that.
I'm drinking.
You're drinking it right now. Um,
It's a damn good lager.
as Nick should be, but that's a different conversation. It's a so here I'll step back before I even get into each of the beers. I'll say one of the questions I used when I was talking to all the breweries is what's the brewmaster's philosophy on beer? Like what do they want in a beer? And my whole thing is I'm kind of a traditionalist, right? Like I like the classic version of X. So our American lager is a very classic, traditional, light, crisp, clean, easy to drink. But what makes it ours is you're going to have more flavor on the backside of it than you get from most American lagers. I'm not going to say all American lagers. There's going to be plenty of other good American lagers out there, but ours is going to carry a crispness and a depth of flavor that traditionally you don't get out of an American lager. So it's a little bit more, but it's still an American lager. So it's only going to go so far. Like if you're an IPA person and you're like, you try a lager, it's not going to deliver. But if you are a lager person, it's gonna really hit home. We have an amber lager. It's a Vienna style amber, malty, toasty, slightly sweet, super crisp finish. So really bright, really refreshing at the backside of it. And it's something that a lot of people, you know, there's a big brand that's from a neighboring state that has quite the following. And when I'm doing festivals in that state north of us, and people will try our amber and then they'll actually look at it and be like, and this is how they say it, which I think is amazing. They say, that's better than my brand X. And I'm like, they always say it's like it's theirs because it's from their area. And when I get that, no, they're like, okay, where can I get it? And I tell them the stores. it's awesome. Our hazy, hoppy, citrusy, super smooth finish, no bitter. It's a very, very low bitterness. Because for me, I mean, what I believe a hazy has to be is hoppy and citrusy. Like I believe those are the core attributes of a hazy IPA. But I
Yeah.
don't love the bitterness. Like I want an easy to drink, well balanced, like kind of sit back and make it your best friend IPA, and that's what we developed.
Now see, like I don't mind a West Coast like nice bitter dank beer, but that's not for everybody. A lot of people who aren't used to that, man, it's like that turns them off really quick.
You know
And
what's
then they
funny though is that a lot of West Coast come across much more balanced than that too. So I think it's really interesting because like I'll see a double IPA that's big, bitter, dank, etc. But I've seen West Coast that are really there. I've seen West Coast that are really moderate and balanced, and I'm like, well, which one is it? So I'm seeing a variety in the style that I just didn't necessarily expect. Right. Um, we have a lemon shandy that I would say is easily one of the best shandies you're going to find. Super clean. It's brewed with a lemon concentrate, which we have to call a natural lemon flavor because hey, that's what the food laws say. Um, and lemon peel. That's it. Like it's very clean, very crisp. Lemon hits you kind of halfway through and then rolls off the back side. It'll build a little bit as you go, but it's not going to overpower you. Balanced, all balanced. Our Oktoberfest, it's a classic Marzen, right? And we source ingredients from different places to make sure that it's really delivering on. If you were in Germany, it's going to deliver on the Oktoberfest, right? But it's also going to deliver like it's going to have a robustness to it, but it's going to have a smoothness to it that you don't find everywhere. My winter lager, oh my gosh, if I had known what was going to happen with our winter lager this year, I would have brewed so much more. I don't know what happened, but that stuff flew. I was out of stock before December even got to us.
Whoa.
nice.
It was amazing.
You made
It's
that
a
10% donation then.
it was I'll tell you, if I had known, I would have had another batch ready. It's a super dark roasted lager, so you get like that depth and the darkness, and then it'll almost give you like a coffee or an espresso undertone, but then it's going to give you a really bright finish, and you don't often find dark beers, deep, robust, and then brightness at the end. So that's where again, how every one of our beers has something that it's traditional, and then there's this that makes it freedom, right?
Yeah,
And
Nick's
then
not getting that with his Miller Lite over there.
I'm not getting any of these flavors with that Miller Lite.
no,
I could get behind
well,
that shandy though. That lemon sounded really
it's
good.
good.
Dude, that's a good golf
You're a light
course
beer
beer right
guy.
there.
I love a
I
good
have,
shandy.
I have something coming. I can't wait to get this too. So before that is here, so yes, I have a light beer coming. It's a rockin' light pilsner. It's going to deliver more flavor again too. Um, we have I have a surprise beer, and I guess being that it's 2 weeks from launching, should I tell you here on this, or should I keep it a
Hey,
secret?
Dude, that's up to you.
That's up
If
to
you want to
you.
drop a bomb, I could get it out to the beer drinking folks real quick.
I'll drop a bomb for you. It's an American white ale. So rather than a
Oh,
Belgian white, it's an American white ale. So it
all
still
right.
has the creaminess, the hints of orange and spice, but it's going to have a little bit more depth to it. So it's still bright, but it's going to have this like depth in there. And one of the things I love, so when I develop a new beer, not obviously I do it with the brewmaster and the team, the brewers and the manager there, and we develop everything. But it's rarely do you hit it on the first shot, right? So we do a batch, but I have a core group of people friends of mine that big into beer. They know our beer, they've known it since the get go, and we'll get together. A friend of mine actually owns a beer and wine shop here, and I'll go. We'll do a quick little tasting, and um, he's Irish, and we taste the last one, and he takes a sip, and he steps back and looks at it and takes a sip, and he looks at it and he goes, "Now that's a sexy beer." And I was like, I think I'm done. I'm not changing this anymore. And he's got a lot of experience in the beer industry. He owned a brewery, etc. So to get that from him, that was fantastic.
Mhm.
Then we're gonna a couple
Oh
little
man, I'm
surprises
excited.
for later in the year. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome. All right. So one of the things we like to ask our guests, that we have on here, is there like a go-to story that you will like tell your buddies when you're sitting around a bar, had a couple beers, it's like your go-to wow story?
Oh my gosh, I'm so not a great storyteller. A go-to story. Well, I remember when you and I were chatting forever ago, and you had asked me about the day that I went into the day I left for the military. Um, and I remember I'm walking down, the terminal, and it's just me and one other guy that are getting on a plane from where I I grew up in New Jersey, so getting in from New Jersey, we're going through Newark Airport, and we're the only two for some reason walking down this like empty terminal, and all of a sudden Sam Kinison. I don't know if you remember Sam Kinison, but he was like he was a
Yeah.
comedian back in the 90s, yelled at everything. And but he just comes walking off of deplaning. He's the only person deplaning. And in true Sam Kinison style, he's got the hat on, he's got the fur coat on, and he's got a pretty woman on each side of him, and walking arms locked. And I'm like, dude, I have to go say one. I run over to him. I'm like, hey, Sam, I want water. But I go over and I'm like, hey, Sam, how you doing? Good to meet you. And he's like, hey, and he goes into his thing and he's like, good to meet you. And he asks, and he's like, what are you guys doing here? We're like, oh, well, we're leaving for blah blah blah. And he was actually really cool. He's like, God bless you. It's like the those of you that are volunteering and signing up, and it was touching to see that.
What year was that?
So 1991, I'm aging myself a little bit there.
Yes, you are. I
Yeah,
was born the
right?
next year.
Huh.
I was
So
born the
Oh,
I
very
was
really?
next
I was
year.
already in the military.
Yeah.
There you go. And then I
Because
guess when it
that's going
when
back
it
to the
comes to
Iraqi war with Bush, right?
I enlisted, I actually signed up right at the time of the first call. Yeah. So,
Wow.
not the brightest. I never said I was the brightest boy in the world, right? I mean, who goes and signs up at that point? But you know what? I knew I wasn't ready for college. And there were other things going in my life, and I was like, you know what? I think this is the right thing for me. Um, so without getting into the deeper, darker, not darker, the deeper side of Alan, but yeah, I knew I wasn't ready, and I knew that if I had gone, I wasn't for college, and I needed to figure something else out, and I needed to do something that was going to be productive, and if think about it, both my grandfathers served and saw combat in World War I. Three uncles
Wow.
served and saw combat in World War II. One uncle was in Korea. Um, my father was non-combat between Korea and Vietnam. My father-in-law was a doctor in the Vietnam War, although he wasn't influencing that decision before I met him. But um, the military just seemed like a natural thing, right? And it wasn't something I grew up thinking I was going to have to do. But when I was 17 years old, figuring out my next steps, I was like, that seems like a pretty smart move. And I'm glad I did it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so many parents discourage their children from enlisting in the military, and if my son came to me and said that he wouldn't go in the military, I would be a proud father. I honestly would. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
know, I
Well,
mean,
most parents immediately think, "Oh my God, you're going to go get hurt," right?
Yeah.
And it's a very irrational fear. Like my daughter, who's 17, just said to me a few weeks ago, she's like, "Dad, I think I might want to do ROTC in college," and I was like, "Bet, okay, let's talk about that." Um, she's gonna. I think that's still 4 or 5 years away before she would have to go be anywhere, right? In the face of combat potentially, but I am not discouraging it by any sense because I think that the world needs people that are still going to go and say, let's do the right thing let's go serve. Just call it that. Let's go serve.
Hmm.
Um, and I commended her for it, and I think part of it is because, she sees me doing this and helping so, whoever we can help. And, she hears the stories about, when I meet people at events and the things they say and how they share their stories with me. And she actually founded a club at our high school, which is a veteran charity. So she in her high school. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I would never discourage it. I would if a parent is worried, there's a lot of things you can do in the military that are clearly combat, you know, higher risk roles, but there's everything. Like there's everything. You could be a cook, you could be an administrator, you could, you be in finance, you could be a medic, you could be like there's so many things. And I think the benefit and the experience you get out of it, it legitimately changed who I was. Like I'm not the same person for having it.
Yeah, my son, weirdly, he became a huge fan of the Top Gun movies, so he wants to
Mhm.
be a naval aviator.
You
But
know
I would
what?
rather
Kudos to him.
I would like to see him go to
Get it.
Buds and be a SEAL though, like, that would be pretty cool. Like, dude, aim for the top. And I
Yeah,
know you're an
well,
Army guy, but, you know.
that's all right. You know what? You know what? We go back and forth because it's fun, but in all reality, we're all doing the same. We're all there for the same cause. So,
Yeah.
um,
Actually, I'm
and I
going
will say
Space Force.
that
I wanted to be in the Space Force. That sounds cool.
it's funny. I finally met the first person. I finally met one person in the Space Force. And I was doing a tasting event at a beer and wine shop. And this guy is like standing back there kind of watching me for 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, all right, this is either going to be a really good conversation or really a not good conversation when he starts walking over to me. And he tries the beer and he's supportive. And then he had oh gosh, what branch was he? He was in thinking, I think he was in the Navy, and then he transitioned over, if I remember correctly. Um, but
Wow.
yeah, so finally met
Fe
somebody in the Space Force.
I feel like that's the redheaded stepchild right now, the Space Force, but
They're still getting their
Yeah.
bearings, man. They're young. They're still young.
Yeah. No, well, they're there though. You're right.
They are.
So it's
They
funny
are
because
there.
people ask me all the time, why are there six six stars? Why are there
oh,
six stars?
on
Okay.
the
Yeah.
can.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because you
I was
got,
like,
yeah.
6 star. I'm
Army,
sitting there looking at
Navy,
the
Air
flag. I
Force,
thought you were
Marines.
showing me the flag, and I'm like, 6
No,
stars? Where are you
underneath.
going?
There's on each side there's six stars. Why are there six
Nice.
stars?
I
So
didn't
what do
put
you
that
say? You
together.
said Army,
Army,
Navy, Air Force,
Navy,
Marines.
Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard,
Coast
Space
Guard.
Force. So
That's exactly. That's what I thought.
so
That's what I was
if
saying.
there's
That's
going
so
to
cool.
be I'll have to be uneven if they add another. That's okay. We'll survive. We'll figure out
Yeah.
how to.
You can make it work. You can put one on the top. You can put Army on top if that's your go-to. If
I'll
that's
take
your
it.
favorite,
I like it.
you can put it on the top. That's fair.
Well, I mean, it's near and dear.
Yeah.
Nick, I gotta say, like, this year, going to the NFL, dude, this year more than ever, I really saw so many of the people and the players and the coaches rocking the salute to service hoodies this year.
Yeah.
And it seems like this year, I mean, every year you see them, but this year it felt like every time they went to the sideline, you saw everyone in the salute to service hoodies. Like the players really adopting that, message and the military backing with the NFL.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when it comes to like wearing that stuff with the salute to service, the crucial catch, the equality stuff at the end of the season, the social justice stuff in December, uh, it's very when you see them like actually on the sidelines wearing them during the game, that there's like a very particular time that you're allowed to wear that stuff, but it's
Mhm.
all dependent upon your schedule. So like this year, for instance, typically it's like crucial catches in October, and salute to service is in November, and then the social justice is in December. And just like for us, for instance, the way our schedule worked out, we didn't have like we weren't going to wear it on the Thanksgiving because we were doing like that special jersey, but we didn't have like a home game situation leading up to that game, so we had to wear ours like early in the year, earlier than we would have normally. So you saw those jerseys or those hoodies and those towels and stuff like that for basically the entirety of November.
Yeah.
But I do think, it's becoming more. I think it's getting back to what it has been forever in America. Is like the military is the core to what it is to be an American, and like the we are the United States of America because of that side of us, and the military and the protection. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for anybody who's ever served or currently serves or even has thought about serving or wants to serve in the future. I have very close friends of mine that are active duty. I have, my grandmother and my grandfather were both in the Navy. That's how they met in Korea. And I have just had, because they make the sacrifices that a lot of people aren't willing to make. And they're, I was, me personally, I obviously never did the military. I was always in athletics, but I've always envied people. Like, two of my closest friends are in the Navy, and they do special things in the Navy, and they made decisions that either, not that I was afraid to make, but I chose not to. And the stuff that they've done, for me, the freedom of all of us here in the United States of America, for us to have the Constitution and live the way that we live here comparatively to the rest of the world, I think that we are so fortunate and so blessed to have people that volunteer and that are willing to do whatever it takes in a lot of cases, in the past, making the ultimate sacrifice. I think there's no greater honor than that. And, I'm just forever going to be grateful for those people. And I think they've caught in a bad rap for a long, over the last, decade or so, since I've been alive. And it's not fair to them. They do things that most people are unwilling to do. And they deserve all the respect in the world and everything that we can give them as Americans, because without them, we would not be the United States of America.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I thank you, and
And
my
thank you for your
father thanks
service.
me, and
I meant to say that earlier.
no, good, all good.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate you, and my uncles, my grandfathers, and brothers and sisters, and everyone that served. Like, it's I will say that it's interesting since I started this business, and again, it's me and my wife, and it means similar things to both of us, obviously. 98% of the comments we get, whether it's online or at events or whatever it is, all super supportive and super positive. There's the 2% that falls outside, and which is fine. Okay, I don't have to worry about that. But I'm gonna tell, like, the support we've received, and the call it appreciation or liking or whatever the appropriate word is, it's been fantastic, because I do think the core of America is extremely supportive of military veterans. I'll even go and say first responders, police, etc. Like, I think the vast majority of people are actually very much there. It's just a matter of, you know, messaging outside of that. So,
Yeah.
um, what's interesting though, as you talk about it, like, one of the stories that when people ask me, you know, what was the inspiration for? How did the idea come up? And I would say quite often it was across many, many, many years. I didn't, I had an experience in my, gosh, late 20s, early 30s, and I remember, I was traveling on business. I was working in corporate America, and I'm on an extended layover, at an airport because of delays, not because it was fancy travel or anything. Um, and and I just go sit down at a bar, and I happen to sit down next to a gentleman who's one of the veterans hat. We're chatting for a couple of minutes. I'm like, I just say thank you for your service. We chit chat for a bit, and then he asked me if I had ever served, and I said yes, and I shared when, because I mean, we're going back to, God, it had to be when that had to be late 90s to early 2000s when that conversation took place. Um, and I said during the time of the first Gulf, and he's like, his response was, he's like, thank God. And I did not see combat. I'm very, very transparent about that. Um, and I said, well, I didn't see it. And he's like, doesn't matter. He's like, all of you guys who went, when you all came home, from being overseas, he goes, and you all had the same issues and challenges that we had. He's like, before you were there, we were shunned, spit on, thrown aside, swept under the rug, like just forgotten about. But when you came home with the same issues that we came home with, all of a sudden there was an understanding and there were services and there were people going out of their way to support you. When you got support, we got support. And I told him, I was like, well, I'm just sad that it was, 30 years later, but at the same
No.
time, that he was just appreciative. So, I look at the guys and girls that have been there and done everything. That's, you know, again, two grandfathers that served and saw combat World War One and real. I have a lot of family that served and saw combat, and I grew up kind of seeing some of the signs of, and my one uncle who's you know decorated veteran in World War II and whatever accommodations, and I remember growing up and I always thought he was just hard. Like, I'm a kid. I thought he was, I didn't he wasn't my favorite, let's just say that. And I didn't get it until years later when I had served and I was seeing my friends and my contacts that were coming home and having challenges and issues. And thing is, back then, World War II, you didn't talk about this. There was never a talk about it.
Yeah.
Push it down inside, like, forget it. Push it down and move on. So, there's a culmination of different things, but that I look at it and I appreciate where we are today as a society, because I'll tell you, I go to events and, you know, I walked out of it, no lie, and, because after you break down and clean up, like, I'm usually, I'm married with 3 kids, so I'm usually alone at these things, and I walk out and I kid you not, there were 2 groups of probably 5 or 6 people each. The second I walk out, they're, like, chanting USA, and they're hugging me, and they're carrying my stuff to the car, and I'm like, it's been amazing to see how people respond to what we're doing. And to your point, it's our mission is to support those that have served. So, it's working, like, it's getting there, and I think the appreciation that you shared, I think the vast majority, actually, statistics show 90% of Americans believe that the military and veterans should receive more support and
Mhm.
services than they do.
Absolutely.
90%.
Absolutely, they should.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we want to go over a couple things with you. One of the segments we like to do when we sort of wrap these things up is something we call the final call. We're going to do a series of rapid fire questions for you.
Totally.
Now, you have not been given these questions ahead of time.
Why
And some
not?
of the,
It's
I
always
know,
fun
yeah,
this way.
This
that's
doesn't work
right.
that way.
And so I tailored some of the questions to a more military theme. Some of them I didn't, but are you ready?
Let's go.
The first question I'm going to preface, I kind of want to have a conversation after we're done here, because I'm sure it's going to have a little side note here. All right.
I've got
Question
all
number
night,
one.
brother.
Have you ever yelled "Oh" during the national anthem at an out-of-town stadium event?
At an out of town stadium event,
Mm-hmm.
yelled "Oh."
Yeah, man. Yell "Oh."
Tell me you know what that is, please, God.
Come on.
Come on, tell
just
me you know
messing
what that is.
I'm just
Okay.
messing with you. Of course I have.
Yeah, just making sure.
So is
Of
that a
course I
yes
have.
or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
you said yeah.
All right.
Yes.
What's your favorite movie or TV show involving war or the military?
Oh my gosh, I am so not. You know what? Easy. Actually, no. Easy answer. Easy answer. I grew up watching MASH with my father. He
Oh,
watched it
MASH.
That's a good one.
religiously.
I met
Religious.
Alan Alda. Great dude.
I've heard great things. I've never met the man. But I have to say, and whether it was the quality of the show or my father passed away the same year that my oldest daughter was born, or just the time, and he was legitimately my best friend. So let's put that out on the table. Yeah, it had to be that. Easy answer.
What's the weirdest thing you ever put Old Bay on?
I keep coming back to an egg salad sandwich.
All right. If you could have a
Try
beer
it.
with anyone living or dead, who would it be?
See, I already said my dad before, but that would be the easy answer again. But okay, I have to change that up. Okay. Right now, John Harbaugh.
Great guy.
Yeah, John Harbaugh. Never met the man. I will tell you.
He likes these, though.
I'll turn him. I will say, having grown up in Jersey, right after I saw that the Giants got him, and I saw a statistic recently. I blame one of my cousins that I grew up a Jets fan, right? I root for the Ravens wholeheartedly as well. I'm starting to develop I've developed an appreciation for the Commanders, right? I would say I still haven't gotten rid of any of my Jets gear because I can't. It just doesn't. I still say, it's hard. When you grow up with it, you grow up with it.
Yeah.
The worst two teams in the last 10 years are the Jets ranked at 32 and the Giants ranked at 31. It's bad. For the biggest media market in the country, that's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
I will say that I text a bunch of my friends right after I heard, and I said, the Giants win a Super Bowl within 5 years.
Bold statement. I like it.
I'm a believer. I think it's going to happen.
All right. Other than Freedom Brew, what beer would we find in your beer fridge right now?
Oh, this is unfair, but I'm going to say it anyway. So Old Mother is a brewery in Frederick. You probably know them.
Yeah.
I'm friends with the owner. We did a collaboration, and it's a double IPA called Double Time. And the proceeds from that went to a VFW and a charity. So to two. So it was two beers, two charities. Oh gosh, and what was the other two? I'm forgetting right now. But there was 2, 2, and 2, and I was like, we have to call this Double Time. And the owner there is also an Army veteran. So it was so I saved a few of those, and they are sitting in my fridge.
All right. What's the coolest weapon you ever got to shoot?
I still go back to the M60. I thought that was pretty badass. Although I was in field artillery, so I did spend some time with blowing some stuff up. But
That's
actual
nice.
shooting was an M60.
All right.
I was in field artillery, so I got hurt. I crushed my knee in a freak accident. Nothing sexy or fancy or whatever. And then I never deployed in field artillery. So then I moved over to a finance role. So I did it in practice, but it was never there, right? But I think the M60 was pretty badass too.
All right. Now let's see. Your favorite celebrity or sports figure?
Nick Moore.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Long snapper love, baby.
You suck up, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Now I got to go buy some Freedom beer. I'll be an IPA guy after this. He just turned me, Sean. You've been trying for 9 months. He got me.
Oh, there you go.
He's going to get you with a light beer.
I'll add on to that. I'll add on to that. Oh gosh, I'm going to show some of my roots here. I met Wayne Corbett in a bar. And that was pretty cool because we just hung out. Like, he was just a dude, like having beers, being a dude, and that I appreciate because he was still very, very famous when I met him at a bar in Hoboken, New Jersey. Like, just hanging. So Wayne Corbett is high on my list only because I thought he was a great guy when I met him. Oh gosh.
Hey, you only got one. You said Nick, man. Just quit while
there
you're
you go.
ahead.
I said one.
Yeah, you're good. We're gonna have to change the question, Sean, to favorite celebrity that's not Nick Moore, because we get that a lot
Nick Moore.
around here.
That's right. I wouldn't have even said Nick Moore.
Come on, I'm a great time. I'm a
The
great time
man's
to have a
sitting
beer.
right
man.
Oh,
here.
you're a great time
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But
But you've also met him 1,000 times.
This is true.
This is
Yeah,
I have the
actually,
honor of it being my first time.
I would have to. So, quick little story for me. Growing up, so I worked as a manager in a bowling alley, and we used to host the Ray Lewis Celebrity Bowl-a-thon that he would have every year. And he would have some like top name guys come in and have just kick ass like bowl-a-thon thing. I mean, like Ed Reed was coming in, just like these Ravens Hall of Famers, like every single year. And Ray was super cool. And because I was one of the managers, I would always go down and have to work the lanes where kind of Ray was. And I remember the first year I did it, it was so cool. I mean, getting to hang out with Ray Lewis and like all these celebrities that he's bowling with. And this next year he had it and he remembered me. And I was like, oh my God, like that. I was like starstruck that he remembered me. I mean, not by name, but he was like, hey, where's that guy that helped us out last year? And then he remembered, he's like, oh, yeah, come over. And we were chatting and stuff. And I'll never forget that. Like Ray Lewis remembered who I was a year later.
I've heard he is like one of the coolest, like very down to earth, real dude. I've never met him either, but I've just heard he's like super down to earth, real guy. Don't like
He's fired up, man. That guy's got some
He is.
passion.
He's always, yeah, he does.
I heard he has
definitely
a lot of
passion.
energy, but I'm
Yes,
just
he
saying
does.
he's like a dude. Like
Yeah, he's a
I
really
mean,
good guy. I
I've
like him
never
a lot.
seen a dude sweating that much bowling in my life. And he was
Hey.
intense, man.
he's
a
throwing a lot of
competitor.
energy.
Yeah, he's a competitor by nature, man.
Yeah, he wanted to win his own tournament so bad. And yeah, man, he was sweating and fired up and oh man, it was awesome. So, all right. Well, sincerely, thank you for coming on and joining us here for a beer tonight, Alan. It's great, man. And Nick and I both love your brand, and we can't wait to try what you got coming out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I'm stoked for it. Yeah, I'm stoked.
We'll get you. So we have the American White Ale coming.
I'm stoked for that. Nick's got the light beer.
We got
And
the
then in
Pilsner
Mar-
coming.
then we have the. You know what? Here's what I'll say. I want to figure out how we all get together to have. I'll take the first 6-pack off the line of each,
Let's
and
do
we have
it.
to get, and then we have to get together right afterwards. So that means twice we have to figure out how to get together.
We got to do it both times. Let's do it. I'm here. I live here, so I'm all for it.
I mean,
Now that it's the
I'm
off season,
probably
we can.
less than an hour from you, bud.
I got time now. Now I got time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I wish you didn't.
schedule's easy. Nah, me too. Me too, brother.
Well, I
Me
told
too.
you. I mean, so inside scoop is like, yeah, we're working on a really big fundraiser for veterans in conjunction with the University of Maryland and one of the fraternities on campus there. And our goal is to try to raise like 26 grand to buy like an all-terrain chair for a veteran. And
Mhm.
it's a really lofty goal, but I think we can do it. And I'm really excited to dig in. I know, Alan, we've already talked about that. So, man, I'm stoked.
Actually, let's have
to,
another conversation about it because Freedom Brew is available at University of Maryland at the football and basketball games.
Yep.
And I do have contacts in the world that might. I mean, I'd have to reach out, right, and see what we could do. But if we can help with the costing of that at all. But I've also spoken with a couple of different places about helping with some charity fundraisers. So
Yeah, we all
let's
work
have
together.
a conversation offline that there might be some really tangible benefits.
Very cool. Looking forward to it, buddy. And thanks again for coming on and chatting with us tonight and having a beer with us.
Yeah, thank you,
Well,
sir.
thank you for having me. Yeah, this was awesome, guys. Thank you. I look forward to having a beer with you in person now.
Yeah.
Looking forward to your continued growth, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so go out, for everyone listening, go out, buy yourself some Freedom beer. Not only is it for a great cause, but it is a really great beer. BMore Brew Crew recommended and approved. So, all right, Alan, we'll talk to you soon, buddy. Have a great week. Nick, it's always a pleasure, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, boys.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.